Now there's Cross has asked a couple questions. I already know the answer to one of them. One of them is basically, Kenny, do you drink? Well, first of all, yes, he drinks water. He's drinking Diet Mountain Dew, drinks Pepsi, or
Yeah,
but if you're asking for
I do
that,
drink to survive. I certainly do.
right? But if I think he's been playing other
Alcohol.
alcoholic drinks, and that's a no. Kenny does not drink alcohol, right? Am I
Maybe,
right about that?
maybe once a year during the holidays, I drink some eggnog, but that's
Like
about
no. And then he asked, well, wine or whiskey? For he wanted us to. I could take either one. I like
it.
both,
If
and
I drank either one, it would be a sweet wine.
yeah.
But Christopher accidentally drank some of his whiskey and Coke, and he doesn't go nuts on it. I mean, you're not going to get drunk on this shit. But the whiskey that he put in his Coke gave it a nice little bite to it that
Mm.
I actually liked. I'm not a drinker, and I've never been drunk a day in my life, but that actually, Christopher doesn't think I can get drunk because I went to a convention one year,
Mhm.
and you couldn't get Cokes at the bar. You could only get mixed drinks. Cokes you had to pay for, and they were like $4 or $5 each. Or I could drink the mixed drinks for free all night long because I was a member of the convention and I was the videographer for the thing. So I said, well, fuck it, I ain't paying $4 or $5 for a goddamn Coke, so I'll drink the mixed drinks. So I've drank Bloody Marys, and screwdrivers all night. I'm drunk now, and all night I must have had 10 Bloody Marys, 10 screwdrivers, and then pina coladas and banana banshees, anything I could get them to make me that I knew I liked.
Mhm.
And someone said that I must have had 30 drinks that night. And the worst that happened to me is that I slowed down. I wasn't as verbally aggressive as normal, but still was not drunk. But let's say I was probably feeling good, a long way from drunk. And apparently, if I were ever be drunk, I would be one of these that just doesn't say a whole lot, as opposed to other times.
Yeah.
Other times, I got plenty to say. But yeah, so if I was a drunk, I would not be a mouthy one, apparently.
I
So
can
most
see
of the
that.
time,
You'd be more of a laid back, kind of
yeah,
just real
yeah.
quiet.
That
I can see
if I
that.
were a drunk, that's the kind I would be. But no, I have no intent. I've
Jack
made
and Coke is good. I
58
like
years
Jack and
without
Coke.
being drunk, so I think I got it covered.
We talk. I know you talked about this on Facebook Live. So what do you think about a little more detail about Rick or Andrew Lincoln leaving The Walking Dead?
Not happy about it. Not
Me
happy.
neither.
He's one of my favorite characters. Negan's obviously my favorite. I love Rick. I love Daryl. Michonne, of course. Those are my main four. The others are kind of I can they can come or go. I can deal with it, but those are the main four I wanted to stay together. I knew the comic had big plans for Carl, and I really think they fucked Carl over because he thought he just bought a house, and he was convinced he was going to be there at least 3 more years, and then he buys the house, and then no sooner than he got the house, they told him that they was killing him off, which I think they fucked him over for the sake of a shock value on the show, and yeah, kill him off. But I think they should pay him the fucking 3 years. Negan was not happy about it either. He talked about it on Twitter, and he was not a bit happy about how they fucked Carl over. Him and Carl were very close, and even in real life.
You're right.
So no, not happy about it, and I'm even less happy that they're stupid enough to fucking leak that. That should have not have got out, and it should have been a shock to the world when they kill Rick off.
Well, you know what? I wonder if it's a whole whoever they're battling over money or something, and then they say, we'll just release this and screw y'all over, kind of deal. So I wonder if that was.
Well, I was told that he wanted to spend more time with his family and that he was tired of being over here 9 months out of the year filming, and that it is a very physical and strenuous on him, and that he can make just as much, if not more, money staying in England, especially because everybody over there is probably trying to get him now.
Mhm.
And but I was told he just didn't want to do the show no more, just like the guy from Fear who put out the word, "Hey man, I just don't want to do this anymore. I want to." He wanted to stay in England and do shit over there. And Lincoln apparently said, "Well, if it'll work for him, it'll work for me." So, but no, both of them wanted out. It wasn't a money thing. As a matter of fact, I think they were both offered more money to stay, and just due to these, the time consumption and the physical stress that it puts on you to do those shows, because a lot of them do most of their own stunts, at least the ones they can do. And so I was told by insiders that he just wanted out, that money was not the issue. So
Hmm. Well, I mean that that makes sense. they be with his family. I
I've
understand.
got some people that work on the film production crew that told me that. So
Oh, okay.
whatever their words worth.
Hey, their word's worth a lot.
I got a lot of connections in Atlanta.
That's good. Hey, Atlanta. Now Atlanta was with the home of WCW, right?
It was. I was down there during Jimmy's time, and I was in WTBS studios many a day. As a matter of fact, I'm in a lot of the crowd shots down there for Ric Flair and Jimmy Cornette matches because those were the only matches I gave a shit to see. So the only time I sat out in the crowd was during Flair's and Cornette's matches, and because I was working for Gulas at that time up in Nashville, and but I was living in Atlanta, and which was tough. I mean, that was a drive I didn't like. So and then eventually came back to Louisville.
The Jordan wants to know, how did you get to interview George Gulas?
I was working for him. He hired me out of a service merchandise he wanted me to be the next Jerry Lawler. I told him I didn't have any interest in that, but I would like to manage or possibly commentate. And he said, "Well, how would you like to do both?" I said, "Well, that'd be even better." So he hired me out of a service merchandise. I was in there returning a surround sound receiver. Y'all don't want to know the details of that deal, but I made a tidy profit that day. We'll just say that. And he was in line behind me, and I turned around and saw him and said, "Hey, Mr. Gulas, how you doing?" And introduced myself and told him I was very good friends with Jerry Lawler and Jim Cornette, and that I'd been watching him since I was a kid, and said, "You're just a real pleasure to meet you." And he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm getting ready to start a new wrestling company here in Nashville." And I said, "Oh, really? Okay." And it's WOW. And he says, "Man, taking a look at you," he says, "you remind me a lot of Jerry Lawler." And I said, "Well," I hear that quite a bit because back then, me and Lawler were about the same height, similar hair, only I didn't have the facial hair and body hair that Jerry had, but I was wearing clothes, so he didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Man, taking a look at you and you friends with Jerry Lawler and Jim Cornette, he's what would you think if I turned you into the next Jerry Lawler?" And I said, "Well," I said, I've done some wrestling, and I tell you what I'd rather do. I'd like to do what my friend Jimmy Cornette does. I'd rather manage or maybe do TV commentary or whatever." And he says, "Oh," he says, "you can do television?" I said, "I haven't, but I have every confidence I can." And so my first ever television interview was interviewing Nick and George Gulas on the I think Channel 34 in Nashville or whatever it was, and it was for WOW Wrestling. It was called World Organization Wrestling, and that was a promotion that Nick started up in the late 80s, like 86, 87, something like that.
Um, Back to The Walking Dead. Someone brought up that apparently Lauren Conrad's battling a new contract too, and so
Now, which
it
one's
could
she?
Maggie.
Yeah, they said
Maggie.
that Maggie's role has really been changed dramatically, and she's not particularly happy with the direction that it's going. And Maggie, I'm going to be honest with you, I can take her or leave her. Christopher really likes her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I can take her or leave her. Just give me good stories on that show. The only characters that I really am invested into on there is I love the new Jesse James guy from Australia. The guy from Australia, I can't think of his name. And I like obviously Morgan being on there. Um, I like the young girl, the daughter of Maggie. Can't think of her name either. You'd be amazed, guys, how many shows I watched for years and cannot name you the characters. It's I don't know if it's called I just don't give a shit what their names are or my memory's that bad. You're lucky I remember Rick, uh, Negan, Morgan,
And Daryl.
Michonne, Daryl, and a couple others. Um, but those guys are family to me. The Fear the Walking Dead guys are not quite family level yet, but Walking Dead, those guys are family to me. I've been watching them for getting ready. We're starting 9 years now, and you watch a show for that long, you get rather invested into those characters, and I'm not quite as invested into the Fear characters yet, but I do enjoy the show.